Hi everyone. This is me, Samantha, and you're on my channel. And yeah, I know it's a blank screen because I was trying to think of the best way to record this, whether to go live or do a voiceover, which is what I'm going to do because I want to give this subject my best attention and to be respectful to everyone that was that survived all of this new information that's coming out now. I do have the list, and I do have a list that I was given 4 years ago, maybe even more years ago actually. It was the original list that was circulating when Epstein had been imprisoned the first time, and all the footage came out about Andrew. I actually don't even know what they call themselves, their second name. I think it's Windsor. The father's name is sorry. I'm not sure if it's Mountbatten or Windsor, but it depends on who's covering royal footage at the time, whether they call them by the Windsors or Mountbattens or any of those royal names. So to start off, I have an article. Most of these are articles that I'm going to be talking about, and books that I may have read, and so on and so forth, because I will do some news articles as well, and I'll upload some clips and news that pertains to the list, the names of that are on the list, and how they are, or how they were connected to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. So this first article, because I want to start as a start, so to explain the boy that became the man. I hope that's not a name that was actually put on a book, because copyright and stuff, but it's a name that came into my head. So the boy that became the man. So who and what influenced his life from childhood. So this particular article is on Forward. It's a non-profit, I'm assuming it's a newspaper or a news article that I found. And this particular piece of information was written by Ari Feldman, and it was written and published on the 15th of July 2019. So here we go. Registered sex... Oh, I shouldn't have really said that actually. Registered... that word, offender, Jeffrey Epstein, wanted to be considered a member of the East Coast elite, but his childhood was solidly middle class, at a time and place where ethnicity was an important part of identity, according to Filthy Rich, a book about Epstein written by James Patterson. I actually do have that book, and I must drag it out and read it again. It was actually quite good. You don't know it's about the island, etc. But James Patterson is a very good author, so I actually must root that book out and give it another read so as I can discuss parts in it. So the person that's in the book, the detective that's in the book, is called Alex Cross, and it's a series of different titles, but the main character is Alex Cross, and he goes and looks up the different cases that he's assigned to. But anyway, that's all I can remember about it for now. Alex Cross was the main character, the detective in all of James Patterson's books. So until recently, when he was arrested for trafficking and forcing minor girls to perform acts on him, Epstein lived in one of Manhattan's largest private homes on the Upper East Side and had numerous vacation homes. He bought an identity as a Harvard man. Now, I think that's where most of his, I don't know whether it would be called anger or jealousy, I'm not sure, but he wanted to be an elite, but the only thing he could get to be an elite was to be around them, to associate with them. So he found a way of how to do that. Now, it will come across the fact that he was a teacher. He actually didn't get that role from a college, but he was assigned it by the dean of that college. And through different elites, and one particular elite sold him his New York townhouse for 25 cents or something, $1. It was ridiculous, but Epstein had information on this particular man, so I'm not sure if it was hush money or why he would give Jeffrey Epstein a townhouse for $1. But anyway, we shall carry on. His social network included... I have to go back another bit. He bought an identity as a Harvard man with over $35 million in donations to the university. His social network included the big names of American business and celebrity, from Donald Trump to Leslie Wexner to Bill Clinton. He preferred to dine in his home, saying that going away to a restaurant was like eating on the subway. So eating on the subway was too good for Mr. Epstein. He liked to travel and eat with his quote-unquote friends in luxury. Epstein has said he grew up in South Brooklyn in Coney Island, but according to records, he grew up in Seagate, a private community at the far eastern edge of Coney Island, New York City's oldest gated community. If they were working class, how was he able to grow up in a gated community? Which makes me wonder, is he one of a line of people who like to make their money to show it off? I'm not sure. It's good to think, it's something to think about, however. But New York City's oldest gated community with a picturesque wrap-around beach, suburban seeming avenues, Seagate was, during Epstein's childhood in the 50s and 60s, in a middle-class haven. It sounds more than middle class, though. I'm sure gated communities are very, very, very expensive. Seagate has had a Jewish presence for almost 100 years. Epstein's family home appears to have been just across the street from Knesset, Israel, Seagate's oldest synagogue. The neighbourhood has now become home to a large community of Orthodox Jews, including many Chabad and Satmar Hasidim. I know I'm after destroying that, but it's very hard. I can't pronounce it. Chabad and Satmar Hasidim. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that completely wrong. Epstein's parents were Seymour and Paula Epstein. Her maiden name was Stolovsky. I shall check up that name actually, see if I can find out anything about the mother's side. So, children of immigrants from Europe. So, Epstein's mother and father were children of immigrants from Europe, which extended families would perish in the Holocaust, according to Patterson's book. Seymour worked for his father, which was a wrecking company, and then for the New York City Parks Department, and Paula worked as well. So Jeffrey and his brother were both latchkey children, I'd imagine, letting themselves in from school after a full day out of the house. They may have had to go home and let themselves in and take care of themselves, which would be another thing of feeling that he was looked down upon, maybe. You know, these are the things that I'm looking to find, is how he felt about where he came from, for him to become someone who wanted to find ways of getting close to the elite. I'm sure everybody can think of different ways of how he did that. Paula was a wonderful mother and homemaker, despite the fact that she had a full-time job, according to Gary Grossberg, former childhood friend of Epstein. Epstein and his brother, Mark, were both, which I think it's Mark that was left the island when Epstein had passed away. I've seen some stuff coming out today that they're talking about him not being passed over again, and that comes out every so often, that he's still alive and he's the one giving information about all of the dirty deeds. But I'm not sure how true that is, so I'm just putting it out there that is in the news today. It is online. I don't know whether it is true or not. So Epstein, I'll just go back over that sentence. Epstein and his brother Mark were both gifted students, both interested in math. Epstein learned piano at a young age and was regarded as a talented musician by friends. Pictures of Epstein in high school don't feature the smug smile that we see in photos from the past 20 years. His features are softer. You see what made him become what he became. His features were softer and calmer. Friends considered him a sweet and generous kid and called him Eppie. So he wasn't always like this. Epstein attended Lafayette High School in Gravesend. Then there was a mix, I'm so sorry. There was a mix of Italians, Jews and African Americans. Jews could face anti-Semitism at Lafayette in South Brooklyn in general. Oh, so they were abused, verbally abused, because of their religion. So that's not going to go down very well in a young person. There was a lot of voluntary. No, there wasn't. There was a lot of volatility at Lafayette. One Lafayette graduate recalled to Patterson and his co-authors, it was a blue-collar area that was at one time 90% Italian. Then a small amount of Jews moved in and there was anti-Semitism. The Italians didn't want the Jews to be there. That's sad. One classmate, Beverly Donatelli, that's definitely an Italian name, said that she and Epstein were sweethearts for a time. Jews and Italians that were pretty much who went to Lafayette High School, she said. They didn't socialize that much, and though my mother was crazy about him, she told me Jewish boys don't marry Italians. Well, this Jewish boy didn't marry at all. Although some people do say he did marry at one stage Ghislaine Maxwell, I don't know. I'd have to find that article again and see if it's true or not. I do know she was extremely close to him, and they met at a young age too, through Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who was also an informant and who blackmailed and all that stuff. So maybe that's where Epstein learned his behaviour. I don't know. We'll get there. We'll find out together. Epstein would make his way first to Cooper Union in Manhattan and the New York University, but never got a college degree. So he never got that degree to teach math, I believe, in university. But he was, as it said earlier in this article, that he was really good and exceptionally gifted at math. So maybe that's where that came from. You know, he was able to, as we say here, he was able to cod his way, like by ducking and diving and sweet talking all these people to get into that job in the first place, you know. So, but never got a college degree. He got his big break after teaching math at the elite Dalton School, from which he went straight to Wall Street. He never looked back. So that is where I'm going to leave it off at today. Just a small introduction into our man, Jeffrey. And